then I think we should adopt means that do not allow us to get into harm. If we can adopt those means, and if by adopting those means we are not breaking the teaching of the Sharia, and that is, I think, by separating the sufuf, I think it's not breaking the teachings of the Sharia at all. I think it is only adopting the means of the Sharia which teaches us to be careful of things which can really lethally harm us. And talking about the disease and it being lethal, there are some who have underplayed and underestimated the disease. Some have compared it to malaria and other diseases and said, those diseases have killed so many people, some people dying daily from murder. And so, you know what? Only 3,000 people, 4,000 people, or 5,000 people have been killed by the disease. So what? I cannot understand the logical thought process that goes with that, because remember, these people are not considering that this disease is only 3 months old. This disease is only 3 months old, and it has killed so many people. This disease has killed people in a small ratio, in a small area where there was the outbreak, which is obviously China initially, and now Italy and other countries. And even first world countries are struggling to contain the disease, because it has been predicted that the disease will probably infect millions, if not hundreds of millions. Some have predicted that half the Earth's population will be infected with this disease. Allah protect us. But remember, while we know the disease will probably spread, we are not to be part of the spreading process. We are to be part of the solution. Because as Muslims, we are taught to be always to put the lives of others first, to put the lives of people first. And that doesn't mean we mustn't perform our salah in the masjid. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying take the precautionary measures in protecting ourselves, and specifically for the sake of our elders. And that is to, inshallah, implement certain measures that, inshallah, will be an attempt on our side to contain or to try and confine the disease to the best of our ability, by no means compromising our spirituality. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. That say, nothing will afflict us except what Allah has written for us. So this is our solace and this is our belief. But this does not mean that we do something that is risking, directly putting ourselves at direct risk. Which, by the way, is okay if you said, you know what, I trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's okay if you are the only one who is going to be affected. But at the expense of your decision to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the manner that you have leaped to do so, which is actually not adopting the measures that Allah has given you to adopt. One measure Allah has given you is that Allah has given you the scientific knowledge today to know how the disease is spreading, which wasn't known in the time of Ta'un before, when these diseases spread. This wasn't known, the method of the disease being spread. This wasn't known. Allah has given you given you that knowledge. So if you say no, it wasn't practiced before, that people would be that people would congregate in salah, a meter from each other. Well, they didn't know that this was caused through that. Otherwise, obviously, they would have adopted it. Number one. Number two is that you are now putting others at risk, knowing that you can have the disease, but you may well recover from it if you are a person who is healthy. But what about people who have weak lungs? What about people who are elderly? How are you putting them at risk? So you can have tawakkul where you are at risk, but not risking others. But I disagree with you if you think you're having tawakkul when you are actually putting the lives of others at risk. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from doing what displeases Him, and may Allah enable us to do that which pleases Him alone. And I ask one and all, urge one and all to make dua during this period to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, utilize these moments in turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, for believers, our trust is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing in the heavens and in the earth can happen without Allah allowing it to happen. The virus is only here because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed for it to be with us, and that is what we know for certain. May Allah bless you all and may Allah guide us. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.